Thanks so much for tuning in to a little bit of No Vacancy here, not at ALIS edition. I'm trying my best to catch up with some of my friends that did make it over there. But first, I want to thank my sponsor I would have had if I had been there, Unifocus technology that drives value. Do me a favor, check these guys out. They're sticking by me, so I'm going to try to stick by them. All right. Every year I get to catch up with my friend who managed to make it all the way from Dubai, and I can't make it from New York, Chris Hartley, CEO of Global Hotel Alliance. Chris, great to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, Glenn. And I always find it ironic when this kind of thing happens. You know, I've just flown all the way over from Dubai, and here I am from one sunshine place to another, and all the folk on the East Coast and even people in Dallas haven't made it. I mean, what's going on?
I know, and I'll tell you, and to make it even worse for me, I've never been jealous of someone wearing a conference badge still, which you're doing on your neck over there. So I'm going to go lick my wounds. But first, man, I really feel that you guys are in an interesting place right now because loyalty has become such an important thing. And you folks are really helping companies that, you know, to kind of band together and create a great loyalty program. So first, how's it going with loyalty in general, and what are you doing over at GHA?
Well, we've just come off an amazing year. We announced results yesterday, which we just published. I mean, just to give you a sense of scale, top line revenue for the loyalty program was up 21% last year, so $3.2 billion in loyalty revenue. But some of the key metrics as well are really going well. I mean, the key number for loyalty is all about repeat, right? There's no point in just talking about how many members you've got. It's are they coming back?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I got to just pause right there because I'm getting tired of all these companies saying how many members they have. But I'm a member of every loyalty club, but it doesn't mean I'm loyal to any loyalty club. So what we're really talking about is people that are loving the program and using the program. Please continue.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's funny that you won't get an answer, a straight answer at least, from any of the big public companies about the real loyalty statistics. Is like how many
you answered it with that question, big public companies. So they're not going to say anything. It's just the nature. It's the nature.
Exactly. So anyway, we're a small private company, and I'll tell you a few data points on that. But active membership for us is defined as people who've stayed in the last 12 months. We're talking about 25% of our database that are coming back. And out of that 3.2 billion number that I gave you, 1.8 billion is repeat business. So that's really the metric we're looking at. And we saw that grow by about 18% last year. The other metric we love is people who stay in multiple brands. So people that move across the alliance. They go from Viceroy to Outrigger. They go from Outrigger to Pan Pacific to Kempinski, and those.
Is that really the point of all of this? Is that's why you brought all these companies together so guests have the opportunity to leverage a lot more than just sticking within one portfolio of products.
Exactly, and so we look at that metric very closely. That was up about 15% last year to $425 million approximately. So it's a smaller part of the business, but it's a really rich part of that business because those are customers who are mostly traveling internationally. They're staying longer, they're spending more, and they're typically the most engaged members in the loyalty program. So they tend to be our elite members. So basically all the core metrics are improving. The other metric that's crucial for independent owners is moving business away from expensive third-party channels. We are over-dependent.
You're like one step ahead of me. I'm going to say direct bookings was the answer. So boom, you're on it.
So we're just over-dependent on, as independent sector, we're over-dependent on the third parties. They serve a purpose, but not if too much of your business comes through them. So we're trying to shift business to loyalty. We have a very inexpensive model because we're owner-owned. We're owner-operated and owned by our member brands. So we had a great success last year, 30% growth in direct bookings, which is really another metric that's important for us. And then adding new members to the program. We're up to 34 million members now. And importantly, adding new brands, which means what we're doing is attractive. And the most notable addition in 2025 was Rotana, who joined at the end of the year in December, bringing on 80 hotels across the Middle East, North Africa. So we've become a big player in that region now, actually.
Yeah, and it's great when you see all of the giant Wall Street companies either scooping up product or introducing new products into the white space they have. It's great to see that these smaller independent companies have a way to compete on a global basis, all the ones that tend to suck up all the oxygen out there.
That's right. And I think you can only invent so many new brands. And the great thing about our brands is they're all well-known consumer brands in local markets, but they're just not well-known internationally. So we don't need to invent new brands. We just need to bring more independents onto our platform. And we've got a great, rich choice, 50 brands now that the customers can choose from. We'll hit 1,000 hotels in Q1, hopefully. And so we're really in a position that we can start to, say, modestly compete with some of the bigger programs. But, you know, it's a long way to go. We're a small sector, relatively speaking, but it's all about the collaboration and giving customers more choice.
Right, but you also have a much more rarefied product. So I wouldn't even say that it's fair to look at other loyalty programs versus yours because you have that different type of customer. I'm just spitballing here, but I'm going to say that top 1% type a customer that's more discerning about travel, which is why you've partnered with those specific brands to create a big halo effect for everybody.
That's right. And some, you know, interesting facts about our portfolio relative to the big players. If you actually use their definition of upscale and luxury, we probably got about 70% of our portfolio, so 700 hotels in the upscale and luxury segment. That's right on there in terms of number of hotels with the big players. So in terms of upscale and luxury, that's the biggest growth segment at the moment. And in terms of international travel, 70% of our business, about 2/3, just over 2/3 is international travel. And again, that's premium business. They tend to stay longer, spend more, and leisure travelers in particular. So we're in the right space. And the type of brands you have, as you say, they're the aspirational brands, the high-end boutique leisure brands that customers are there looking for, and where the biggest growth is at the moment.
Yeah, the one thing I really want people to understand coming out of this is there's too much focus on raw numbers. There's not enough focus on the right numbers, right? And your company is a lesson in it's not trying to scoop up everybody. It's about having the right people buy into the system, the right hoteliers buy into the system, and creating great value for everyone involved.
That's right. And engagement is so key, and meaningful engagement at property level. And the great thing about owner operators is they're very close to their business. And we sit around the table with people that own assets. We've probably got more owned assets. Again, a fun fact, we've probably got more owned assets in our portfolio of brands than any of the majors do by a long way. So again, about two-thirds of our portfolio are owner operated. And so they're able to really get their teams engaged with the whole concept of customer engagement and really recognizing those customers. And that's a core part of loyalty, is getting people the feeling that they're in a hotel that really cares about them. And it's not superficial. Do you know what I mean? It's a real genuine desire to look after these customers. So it's a different approach. We don't have the hundreds of millions to promote the program, which is why I need to talk to you periodically to get the message out there. But it's nonetheless a great alternative for consumers looking for a different experience.
And that's kind of why I love talking to you, Chris. And I know out there sounds a little bit silly, but he's not paying me anything. I just love your story. And I think it's really interesting what you guys have been doing. It's been an honor following it for a number of years. Any final thoughts before we let you go today, sir?
Well, we're very optimistic about 2026. The one thing I'm finding over the last few years is that for the first time in my career, geopolitical noise is not putting people off travel. And that I love. In other words, people have figured out that, just because something's happening in one part of the world doesn't mean I'm going to stop traveling. And I like that. And even the US market has become far less sensitive to sort of background noise out there in the world. So we're very optimistic on growth in international this year. Leisure travel is going to continue to boom, and people see travel as part of who they are these days, and that's the new generation of travelers. And so we're optimistic for the rest of the year.
Yep, you're right. Chris, you say new generation of travelers. You're absolutely right, because ever since the Great Recession, we've been talking about that shift from a materialistic society to experiential. Now all of them have grown up and they're living it. It's great to see, Exactly. What's not great to see is that we've been around so long that we can float something like these from like 20 years ago. But that is for a podcast another day. Chris Hartley, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Appreciate you guys for being here as well. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. You know what the deal is right now. Please follow us on LinkedIn. Share this video. Tell your friends. And remember, everyone, you got one life, so blaze on, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.